Hi there. Today, a quick video on combining clauses before you do your activity in class. Let's take a look to see if we can figure out how to get this done today. When joining independent clauses, an independent clause has a subject and a predicate and can stand by itself as a sentence. For example, I like the Colts. My dad likes the Bears. These are two independent clauses. You can see they both have subjects and predicates. They're highlighted in yellow, and they're both complete thoughts. The question becomes, how do we join these two independent clauses together in order to make compound sentences? If you join two independent clauses, you're making a compound sentence. There are two ways to do this, essentially. One is to use a comma plus a coordinating conjunction. That's fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Or to use a semicolon if the two items are related in content and of kind of equal importance. Let's look at the two clauses we looked at earlier. I like the Colts. My dad likes the Bears. If we wanted to make a compound sentence, there are two ways we could do it here. One, as demonstrated in the first sentence, we can use the comma and the coordinating conjunction. I like the Colts, comma, but my dad likes the Bears. Now, it is important that we do need the comma and the conjunction. The comma alone won't do it. That's what we call a comma splice, and that is wrong. And we also can't only use the conjunction. I also can't just not use the comma conjunction at all. That would be a run-on. The second way, in the second sentence, I like the Colts, semicolon, my dad likes the Bears. Those two items are related in content, they're both about the NFL, and they're of equal weight, so using the semicolon's okay. Subordinate clauses. A subordinate clause also has a subject and a predicate, but it cannot stand alone as a sentence. Here are some examples. Because I like the Colts, when the game started, after we scored a touchdown, since we needed a win, if we keep playing well. Each of these begs for something more. They can't stand alone as a sentence, but notice they all have subjects and predicates, just like independent clauses do. But if you look at the words in yellow, these are called subordinating conjunctions. And whenever you put a subordinating conjunction at the start of a sentence, you're using a subordinate clause and you're going to need a comma. Also, you'll see that the only words that make these subordinate are those subordinating conjunctions. Look at this. I like the Colts. The game started. We scored a touchdown. We needed a win. We keep playing well. All of those would be independent clauses if not for that first word. So if you want to make an independent clause into a subordinate clause, you just put a subordinating conjunction at the beginning of it. Now let's look at joining independent and subordinate clauses together. When you join an independent clause with a subordinate clause, you make a complex sentence. In this case, all the subordinate clauses comes first, and the subordinating conjunctions are highlighted in yellow. Because I like the Colts, comma, I bought a jersey. I bought a jersey is an independent clause that can stand alone. When the game started, comma, I ordered a pizza. After we scored, comma, I ran laps around the couch. Since we needed a win, comma, the coach came prepared. If we keep playing well, comma, we could win the division. Notice that in each of these, we need a comma after the subordinate clause because the subordinate clause came first. Watch what happens, though, when I flip these around. When I put the independent clause first, there's no comma needed at all. So we won't put a comma before words like because and when and since and if. I bought a jersey because I like the Colts. I ordered a pizza when the game started. I ran laps around the couch after we scored. After shouldn't be capitalized there, by the way. The coach came prepared since we needed a win, and we could then win the division if we keep playing well. So again, if we look backwards, see I need the comma if the subordinate clause comes first, and forwards, if the subordinate clause comes second, I don't need it at all. Now let's try some on our own. Take a second and pause this video and identify which of the following sentences are punctuated correctly. When you have your choices, hit play again. Are you ready to take a look? Let's see which of these were punctuated correctly. If you pick sentences 2, 4, and 5, you were right. If he would have waved, comma, I would have laughed is correct because the subordinate clause comes first and we should have a comma before the independent clause. And the fourth sentence, "you can come next time if you have the time," is also correct because in this sentence, the independent clause, "you can come next time," comes first, and the subordinate clause, "if you have the time," comes second. If the subordinate clause is second in the order, there's no comma needed. And the fifth sentence, "I have great seats, semicolon, they cost me a fortune." These are two independent clauses that can be joined by a semicolon. But let's look at the other three and see what didn't go well with those. Now let's look at the other three to see what we could have done better. In the first sentence, "I waved to Andrew Luck," we should have "I waved to Andrew Luck, comma, but he didn't wave back." In order to join these two independent clauses, we need the comma and the coordinating conjunction. In sentence 3, we should have "he threw a touchdown because I was there," with no comma at all, because the independent clause came first and the subordinate clause came second. We don't put a comma before because. And in the last sentence, "I would like to go, comma, but I don't have the money." These are two independent clauses, and they need the comma and the coordinating conjunction to make them combine into a compound sentence correctly. Now you're going to try some sentences on your own in My Big Campus. If you don't do well, come back and watch this video again and give it another go.